Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Turtle Warhammer. Today, we are going to be covering the class clowns of Warhammer, who are also known as the Orks. The Orks are loud, they're violent, they're stupid, they're green, but here's the problem. The Orks were never meant to be stupid. They were built to survive the worst war the galaxy has ever known. And somehow, they're still alive. Today, we're breaking down Ork lore from the beginning and why they might actually be winning in the Warhammer 40K universe. So, you may be asking, what are Orks really? Orks are a warlike alien species that live for one thing. They love to fight. That's all they want to do. They love big guns, they love bigger explosions, and they love bigger enemies. But the Orks aren't evil masterminds. They don't want to rule the galaxy or destroy reality. All they want to do is fight. They just want to punch you in the face as hard as you can, and they want you to punch them in the face as hard as you can. War is fun, peace is boring, and dying in battle is honestly one of their favorite things to do. Cool fact, Orks might be the only race in Warhammer that is genuinely happy. Everyone else is suffering, while Orks, they kind of just wake up excited because they think they're going to punch something in the face really hard. Now that we kind of discussed what Orks are, let's go into their backstory. Long before humanity, long before the Imperium, the galaxy was already at war. It's called the War in Heaven. That's for another video. It's actually really cool. And during this conflict, the Orks were created as a living weapon, but they weren't originally called Orks, they were called Krork with a K. The Krork were smarter, bigger, more organized, possibly more advanced than modern Space Marines. Over millions of years, without their creators, they slowly degraded into modern Orks. Eventually the war ended, their creators are gone, and they kind of just got bored. And basically, without them having anything to fight, they ended up just degressing in a way. They started to become smaller because they just feed off of fighting. They literally get smarter, stronger, and bigger based off of who they're fighting and how strong they are. So the stronger the enemy, the stronger they get. And a fun fact about the Krorks is that there is a preserved Krork that is in the universe wearing armor that is so massive that it makes Terminator armor look small. And now, with their creators gone, you may be asking, how do they repopulate? Well, Orks do not reproduce like humans. They spread using fungal spores. Yes, they are pretty much a mushroom. You take Ed and a mushroom, you make them fuck, and out comes an Ork. Every Ork constantly releases spores that grow into more Orks, squigs, and entire Ork ecosystems. So them just being alive is making them reproduce. Killing Orks isn't really a thing. The only way you can really kill one is by just fire, and they would have already have spread a shit ton more Orks by then. Even victory plants the seeds for the next invasion, so they can just wipe out an entire place, and guess what? Now they have an entire army made on that planet to just go fuck up another planet. And there are planets the Imperium considers permanently lost, not because Orks are there now, but because Orks were there once. Which means, obviously, there's going to be a shit ton of Orks there eventually. Ork society is brutally simple. The biggest Ork is in charge. Bigger Orks, they bully smaller ones. The strongest becomes the war boss, and if someone beats him, they become the war boss. And the important roles are boys, knobs, mech boys, pain boys, and weird boys. Boys are just fighters. Knobs are considered leaders. Mech boys are engineers. Pain boys are surgeons. And weird boys are psychers. That's just how they speak. That's just how they consider each other. Obviously, because they have the IQ of a fucking goldfish. And they don't just learn these jobs. So a mech boy just doesn't learn it. They're just born knowing it. They're kind of just born into what job they're supposed to be doing. And obviously, the more they fight, the bigger they become, which means they'll eventually challenge each other, and it's just more of them fighting each other sometimes instead of fighting someone else. And war isn't just culture, it's biology to them. They are literally programmed to fight. So when they see a smaller orc and you are a bigger one, they're just gonna stomp on him because it's like, ha, funny. And the orcs do this thing where they scream, "Wah!" And that's when they become a galactic threat. A WAAAGH isn't just an army, it's like a snowball. It's orcs gathering, and they get smarter, and then their tech improves, and then their leaders evolve, and then more join. And like I said, it's like a snowball. It just keeps growing the more it rolls. The longer a WAAAGH lasts, the more dangerous it becomes. Obviously, the more there are, the stronger they are. Some WAAAGHs have grown so large, they've threatened entire star systems, and once a WAAAGH reaches critical mass, stopping it becomes almost impossible. And I mentioned something about technology in there. And orc technology looks like junk. If you go and look at their models, it looks like they just took a bunch of scrap and threw it in a fucking pile and said, hey, it works. And that's how it does work. Guns have missing parts, vehicles are held together with scrap, and armor is welded by just their vibes. But it works because orcs generate a psychic field called WAAAGH energy. If enough orcs believe something works, reality slightly bends to agree with them. Red vehicles actually make them go faster because the orcs believe that red makes things fast. There's also this thing where they say purple orcs are invisible orcs, and their theory to that is, have you ever seen a purple orc? So technically, yes, there may be purple orcs out there, and they are just genuinely invisible. Their belief doesn't just replace physics, it pretty much just bullies physics into cooperating with it. There was a time where the orcs almost killed the Imperium. It was after the Horse Heresy. Humanity was very weak. That's when an orc leader known only as the Beast appeared. He was larger than a Primarch, smarter than most humans, and leading orcs that could speak High Gothic. They built planet-sized war moons. Yes, moons. They invaded Imperial space. They nearly reached Terra itself, which would have just probably ended it. And the Imperium only survived because Vulcan returned. And there was entire Space Marine chapters that were completely wiped out from trying to stop the Orks, which just shows that they could potentially evolve back towards what they used to be if they just have non-stop war with really tough opponents. Today, orcs are everywhere. They're in every side of the fucking galaxy. There hasn't been a place where they pretty much haven't been found. The most dangerous living warboss is called Ghazghul Thraka. He claims to speak for the orc gods, and he nearly unites all orcs multiple times. Even Primarchs take him seriously. And speaking of the orc gods, they have two gods, one named Gork and one named Mork. They basically think Gork is brutal but cunning, and Mork is cunning but brutal. Which is like the whole argument that, yes, it sounds the same, but orcs argue constantly about which god is which, and they will absolutely start a fist fight over it. And Gork actually represents direct violence, so just smashing things, throwing things, punching stuff, overwhelming force. Mork is more about sneaky violence. He's more about ambushing and traps and hitting the enemy when they're not looking. And a lot of people ask, are Gork and Mork actually real? And yes, in Warhammer 40K, gods exist if enough belief fuels them, and billions of orcs believe in Gork and Mork, so yeah, they're real. And the fact that the orcs generate psychic energy constantly and just whatever they believe in happens also just helps their case even more. That their beliefs just feed their gods. Gork and Mork are two of the most powerful warp entities in existence, actually. And here's the scary part. They're not subtle, they don't bargain, they don't corrupt. They just smash things in the warp. They're just there to fight. Chaos gods are usually about manipulating mortals, whispering promises, corruption over time. Gork and Mork don't care about souls. They don't care about rituals. They don't care about deals. They don't play games. They just fight. That's all they want. And apparently, they have fought the Chaos Gods and the Warp. They don't try to overthrow them, they just try to punch them. All they want to do is slap them in the face, laugh, run away, and then just do it again. That's Gork and Mork. That's the Orks. That's what they do. They're the class clowns just because of a lot of other backstories as well, which we can get into more, or you can look up other videos as well. But yeah, they pretty much just believe in whatever the hell they want. It works if enough believe in it, and they're just there to have fun and kill things. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and we will be back with some more Warhammer videos. WAAAGH!